On the face of it. Clocks. We call the front of a clock a face because it tells the time, as does our faces, they say, showing the passage of time in our skin. Well, for some anyway. Maybe not for all if it is true that there are others who walk among us. But behind the face of time is the truth that we are slaves to it and are bound by it. Infiltrating faces. AI in its present setup seems to be partly about messing with people's faces and perceptions of themselves and other people. Filters are how it started, seemingly innocuous at first, just a bit of fun and a way to see yourself how you might want to be. Now being creepier with technology to remould your face from a bunch of other faces, with the computer deciding your perfect face for you. Add an extra layer of creepy with people now starting to be aware that the systems are generating entirely fabricated faces, sometimes being used as a representation of a real person. They call them AI generated or enhanced when the computer makes them up, then call them fake or edited when people do it. Silence of the Lambs. Seems like an odd one to throw in maybe, but I thought of it for two reasons. Firstly, the fact that although quite happy with his identity, Hannibal Lecter wore someone else's face to escape. And for Buffalo Bill, who wasn't happy with his identity or face, wanting to project the face he wished to have, by way of a frightening homemade skin suit, if you aren't familiar with the film. Wolf in sheep's clothing. A camouflage to blend in. Imitate to infiltrate has been used for many a purpose, and if there is a nefarious agenda, usually any tactic is a possibility. Hiding your true nature behind a facade of something else. So more a metaphor rather than the previous reference, where they literally wore a different face. Probably more in line with Face of a Clown, a masked reality. I've mentioned it before, and we all know that as humans we learn much by looking, and faces are something that give us a wide range of cues, information, and sometimes warnings. All those different ways we communicate before we even need to use verbal language aren't just based on the face, obviously, but that ties much of it together. Which is why many people were and are against the wearing of face masks in everyday life for no substantiated reason. Because it hampers development, communication, and perceptions, which have very real consequences. Communication and the ability to understand people, comprehend situations, meanings, and concepts is important. Individually, and for the purpose of a cohesive society. Once that starts to become stunted and a problem, other problems soon follow. Even when you are speaking the same language, there are often different meanings and intentions behind things that seem on the same wavelength, but time or circumstance reveals they aren't quite as you thought. And sometimes you might even be on the same page temporarily, but in a different book completely in the bigger scheme of things. With all of the above taking place though, it's now more important than ever to know who you are and who you are interacting with and learning from, in real life and online. Because just as manipulative people in real life know what to do to work on your weaknesses and exploit your vulnerabilities, so do the online crew. Whether it be people or AI, it's all running to a motive and method. Just remember that.